So tonight I wanted to talk about Mickey Mouse in Vietnam. So what is Mickey Mouse in Vietnam? It is a short. It used to be sort of a rare short, but it came out on YouTube eventually. But it was a short made by Milton Glaser, who is a famous graphic designer and made the I Heart New York logo, if you've ever seen that, as well as was animated by Whitney Lee Savage, who's the father of Adam Savage from Mythbusters, and did a lot of cartoons for early Sesame Street. Basically, what is this short? It involved Mickey Mouse seeing an army recruitment thing, like join the army, go to Vietnam. He joins, he goes to Vietnam, he walks off the boat, and he is very quickly shot and killed. This was played at a festival in the late 60s called the Angry Arts Festival to kind of protest the Vietnam War. I believe in about, maybe it was 1970, late 60s. Didn't play a lot. It actually won an award from the International Short Film Festival in Obernhausen in 1970. This short has kind of become infamous because, one, it's like this protest short. Two, it involves Mickey Mouse getting shot in the fucking head. So it becomes a lot more interesting because how often do you see Mickey Mouse get shot in the fucking head? Not like every day or anything. And also the rumor that Disney destroyed every copy of it. To my understanding, that is actually not true. There's nothing to base that on at all. And according to the person who made it, like Milton Glaser, who I know has a lot of money, I used to work for a company that he ran, and I know he has like an archive where they find stuff for him, and they were trying to find it, and they couldn't even find it for a while. And I gave them something that I found in an office that was his. Anyway, it was like a poster promoting something he did. Yes, so he helped make it, but it seems like, according to him, no one made any money off of it. Like, they never made any money off of Mickey Mouse in Vietnam. It was just there to protest the Vietnam War. And it's in 1968 that this came out. Basically, the idea of this was that Mickey Mouse was a symbol of innocence. It was showing at the time that all these boys going over to be killed very swiftly, that they were, these innocent people who were eventually killed because they were just sending tons and tons of men to war at that time, and to protest that. And it was a shocking reaction. Apparently, when it did play at the Angry Arts Festival, it did get quite a reaction. I'm assuming the short played probably in front of a lot of movies, much like Bambi vs. Godzilla and things like that, where you can't really track how often it played or anything like that. I bet you it got whatever viral was at the time. Like, I don't think it just played at the Angry Arts Festival and the festival won an award from. I bet you it played at other things. There's no recorded history of that. It might have just played those two things. Apparently, but Milton Glaser says because they didn't actually make any money off of it, Disney had no right to sue, because you would have to have said you had a loss of income or something. And since it mainly played to people who weren't going to be watching Mickey Mouse shorts, to my understanding, it didn't play for children. It didn't really break that. Disney, most of the videos that are online, they haven't taken down. One that's on is a YouTube account called Shane Fleming. He appeared in it's the right Shane Fleming, I think it is. He appeared in my cartoon Carnival video, if you remember that. So check out his, because this has the soundtrack from that was also in Dawn of the Dead. It is an interesting short for the 1 minute it is. A lot of people say it's lost media. It sort of was until it came out, and then sort of when it came out, it became a bigger deal and became this big lost media thing. Before it came out on YouTube in 2013, there really wasn't that much information on it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But it's kind of like an interesting lost media thing is when it was discovered, people freaked out because it is so different. And it is odd that Disney hasn't taken it down anywhere from YouTube. It's an interesting kind of piece of animation history, particularly because it's from Milton Glaser, who's a major designer. He designed the DC Comics logo. He did I Heart New York. He did the famous Bob Dylan poster, the Brooklyn Brewery logo as well. They do claim it's made by a different studio, but it is officially made by Whitney Lee Savage and Milton Glaser. What either of them did, I don't know Whitney Lee Savage's work, so I don't know if it's like his other animated shorts or anything like that. But it's just sort of interesting to show you kind of the simple sort of animation they made at the time. And I think much like Bambi meets Godzilla, it's sort of like a simple premise. It shocks you. It gets out of there. You can tell your friends, like, I saw this, Mickey Mouse in Vietnam, and he goes to Vietnam. There's actually a short like this, and it's a conversation starter, but it's literally, that's sort of like all it is. And I think, whereas Bambi meets Godzilla is just a simple gag, very well executed, I think this is more to show a protest message and to protest the Vietnam War in animation, but it does it so effectively. I think maybe why it didn't live on is because obviously you couldn't put it on a VHS tape because then Disney would start suing people. So it didn't make it like Bambi Meets Godzilla and other shorts that have been able to live on and be on VHS compilations. So almost YouTube was the perfect place for it when that eventually came to be. It was a big deal when it came out. BuzzFeed did an interview with Milton Glaser when it came out. Things like that. It is kind of an interesting piece of lost media that has come up and risen from all this, but it is basically like probably one of the more interesting pieces of, or only one I can really think of. I think there's a couple more, but probably one of the more interesting uses of kind of protest in animation, and one that uses kind of a major icon and was able to get away with it. Maybe it's because of the people attached to it. Maybe it's because Disney was like, we have better things to do. I don't know, but it's kind of like an interesting kind of like little footnote in their careers and in Mickey Mouse's career that at one point he actually protested something, whether Disney wanted him to or not.